So, how aware are you of the beliefs that you continue to speak into your life? Because what we speak actually is one of the easiest ways that we can start to bring light to our subconscious belief systems and to the things that keep us in the patterns that we continue to play out. So I'm going to give you an example of this because this is a belief that is seeded within the collective that keeps much of the collective in a in part of the consciousness of suffering, of lack, and I was absolutely seeded into this belief system without even realizing it. So Minnie is joining us here, and she's literally wants to be the star of this video. She's definitely is the star of this video. So and this is so I was talking to this lady the other day, and she said that most people work to earn money to pay the bills, and it's not because they like what they do, and it's a really minority of people that get to work and do something that they love. And she was just saying that's just how it is, and people just need to do what they need to do to earn money. And I thought to myself, wow, yeah, that's what you believe, right? And there was a time when I believed that. I didn't even, not necessarily that I believed it, right? I didn't sit down and think, oh, I need to do something that I don't enjoy in order to earn money to live. It's just that we're born into this slave system where we go to school. We're not taught to connect to our true inner beings, to find out what our soul divine blueprint is, and to bring and to do something that lights us up and brings us joy. So rather than us contributing to the world with something that lights us up and brings us joy, we contribute to the world in things that we're told are these jobs that we need to have. So most people, just like she was saying, most people have these actually can't get a look in here, can I? All right, Minnie. Most people have these, she's not looking so mini right now, is she? She's taking up the whole screen. So most people have these, have jobs where all this energy, think about all the energy that goes into your working day, right? Into your working life, how much you're at work, and think about that times the billions of people on the planet, and then think about if 99% of the planet are doing things just to earn money to have a house, and they don't actually enjoy what they're doing. Think about how that energy is seeded into the world. Then we can look around and understand how we've created the reality collectively that we've created. And this is the inverted matrix that we're born into, that we're programmed to believe is just normal and it is how it is. But that's not the truth. And we're now moving into the new earth energies. And many of us are already got our feet in the new earth, but we're working with the old timelines to create a bridge to help people move over to the new earth where, in the false matrix, everything's been upside down, inside out, back to front. So that belief system that she was bringing forward, which I could tell she totally believed it, and I understand that most people do believe that they have to just get a job and do something they don't enjoy, and there's no other options, there's nothing else they can do. They've not been taught how to go within, connect to their own soul, connect to their own light, grow their light, and within that realize there's codes, keys, and coordinates to a life of fulfillment and joy. So that is part of my mission, to help people heal all the distortions, all those negative belief systems that keep them trapped, and connect back to the true soul self so that they can discover the gifts and the talents, discover the light, which then they bring onto the world. So in the new earth, it's actually going to be, you think of it this way, all of the people doing something, contributing to the globe through something that brings light into their life, that lights them up. So they're seeding the intentions and they're seeding the energetics of the collective timelines with light and with joy. Imagine how quickly our world is going to change. But in order to do that, You've got to start becoming aware of those belief systems that we just, like I say, I wasn't even aware consciously of that belief system originally until I started to wake up. So most people, I knew this woman that was talking to me, didn't even realize that was a limiting, sabotaging belief system that kept her trapped in a job that she didn't enjoy. And many people have that. So until you start to see it, and we can start to see it by becoming conscious of the things that we speak, we can start to realize we've got a belief system, and it's not true, but it only becomes true if we believe it, right? Because once we believe something, it creates its own energetic pattern, its own energetic form, and we start to behave in accordance with that pattern and that form. And that's what keeps us playing in that reality. And it is a process, we don't just give up our beliefs instantly. Sometimes we do, right? Sometimes things just come in and boom, our beliefs are totally shattered, and that can be really painful. And often as we're going through that, we're going through a huge, big spiritual awakening, and often we go through that at various points in our life as well. But often more of the time, we're actually changing our beliefs little by little. We start to become aware of them. We start to realize we have this belief. So I want to put that there into the consciousness. Are you working right now? Are you doing something that you do not enjoy? That is there's nothing wrong with that. We've all done that. I've done that. But do you believe? Is there room? Can you open up your mind to think that perhaps there's something inside of you that actually lights you up, that you could contribute into the world instead? And maybe you don't know what that is right now. Maybe you don't know what the steps are, and you don't need to know all those things. I certainly did not know those things as I was waking up to some of these negative belief systems. But I started to follow my heart. I started to be guided by my heart, and I started to make decisions from a heart space rather than a head space. So I go back to 2017 when I decided to retrain in hypnotherapy. Worked in finance 22 years. I got this call to retrain in hypnotherapy, and my head said, hey, you've done nearly 22 years in finance. You've done all these exams. You've worked your way up. You're a senior finance manager. There's prospects at this company. But my heart said, don't want to be doing this in 10 years' time. I'm stressed. I'm anxious. It's not bringing me joy. So I followed my heart, and I started to take steps, and all those and I've been on a real journey of steps that I kept taking, and there's been many times on those steps that I've made even more things conscious, because as we start to follow our heart, and I'm going to link a video on this at the end, which I go into in a lot more detail, then other subconscious beliefs become conscious in our mind that we've got to face and alchemize with the truth, with the light. And as we do that, we start to connect to our souls. As we connect to our souls, we're starting to move onto our new earth timeline. And the planet, well, it is ascending right now, and more people are waking up, are really taking stock of their lives, are really starting to, it's becoming much more difficult to stay in a life that's been created through the ego, through the limited programming, and it's going to become more and more difficult as well, because all of the energies are shifting to the new earth energies. So you're either going to have to get on board with these energies and do your healing and start reconnecting, or it's going to be a really uncomfortable ride, right, for those that choose not to. Now, if you're watching this video, then you have been brought to this video because you were on that journey of reconnecting back to your soul self, to doing that healing work, because your soul has brought you here to do that. So today, as you're going about your life, because often we say things, right, often we have these goals, we have these ambitions for ourselves. So we have these goals, we have these ambitions for ourselves, but then we keep replaying a belief system that is in opposition for it. So for example, for me, I set a goal back in 2024, January 2024, at the end of December 2023, I said to myself, boom, I'm exiting the false matrix. And what I meant by that is I'm moving away from this slave system that has me working like a slave in order to just about survive, where even though I'm working like a slave and I've got a good job, I'm still not financially secure. I'm still not financially free, I'm not free, I have a certain amount of holidays, I'm stressed, I'm anxious. I'm exiting that system. And I knew I'd already realised there's another way to live. That I have something in my heart. I've got something to share. I've got gifts. I've got talents in the healing space, and I'd already been on a journey with discovering those and of healing, but I had to see that I could open my mind and say, yes, that is a possibility, that I can live that life, that I can live a life where I just travel around to different beautiful locations, where I do my work anywhere. That I can live a life that is full of joy, that work is not work, it's something I'm passionate about. And I had to open up my mind to that. And then I had to start becoming aware of all the times when I would say the opposite of that. And I would say, yeah, or I would feel, because when I realized that was truth, and that was there, I also realized this at the same time, that there were parts of me that were programmed to say, no, you've got to work hard. You've got to work hard to earn money. I had to really challenge those beliefs, because I knew, and I looked and I thought, hold on, I've worked hard all my life. My mum and dad worked hard all their life. They worked countless jobs. Think about how many people that you know that have followed the rules, worked hard all of their life, and yet they're only just about surviving. Are they financially free to do what they want? Most people are not. So it's not actually true that if you work hard, you're going to be financially free. So that can open you up then to realize that there's another way, that the world is abundant, that we are these divine souls that are powerful. We are really powerful to co-create with our divine soul a life of joy. So right now, if you are watching this video, then it's been brought to you because somewhere in your life you already have something you're moving towards, a goal you're moving towards, but you're still replaying an old belief system. You're speaking it out loud, most likely, without even realizing you're speaking to it. So today, be really aware, be really observant. I say this, I realized years ago that I am a scientist. You are a scientist. We are all scientists. When we start to observe our own lives, when we start to observe the way we speak, the way we think, the way we show up in our lives. And as we start to observe it, and we do it with non-judgment, we do it with compassion, because we understand that we've got programs and we have to first observe and see them in order for us to start to dissolve those programs. So it's not going to happen instantly, but it's going to happen as every time we choose to observe, see it, and then choose to speak in a different way, to think in a different way, to bring in the light, turn on the light, bring in the truth. We start to alchemize those beliefs, and we start to shift from one timeline, that belief system, into a new paradigm and a new belief system. And there's, it works, it is real, it is true. That is what I've experienced in my life. I've gone from those lower slave codes into these higher freedom, liberation codes, and now I'm living a life of joy. Do I ever face challenges? Yes, of course, but I face them in a totally different way, because I've alchemized all those fears that are programmed into us to keep us trapped. Oh, what if I can't pay the bills? Oh, what if I'm just not good enough? All these things I've alchemized. I've healed all the not good enough programs. I've healed all the fears around money, around not having money. And I've been faced it. I've had to face it. I've had to go through periods where I've had no money as I've been moving on this new path. But you know what? I've always been supported by the divine. And as I've trusted and had faith, the divine's always swept in and supported me and rewarded me for following my heart in ways that go way beyond money in a bank account, right? And I know that I am being opened up to receive huge amounts of abundance in all areas of my life for following my divine path. So I hope this video inspires you to do the same. And if you're looking for a way to quantum leap on to your next timeline. You know, I've created an amazing program called Reconnect, which is an 8-week quantum healing hypnosis program, energy activation program, where I take you through the journey that I went through to do just that, to alchemize all those negative limiting beliefs that make you think you're not good enough and you can't have a life like this, that make you think that you've got to suffer, that you've got to work hard, that you've got to just do something that doesn't really bring you joy, and that keeps you in those slave codes. You know, I've been alchemizing those codes, healing all of the unprocessed trauma and emotions that get trapped in the body that again stop us from connecting to our soul. Often people can't hear the guidance, can't connect into their own guidance because their energy field is just filled up with all of this, let's call it static. It's like having a radio station, right? When you're tuned into your higher self, to your guidance system, which is always going to guide you in the most optimal direction, right? It's never gonna try and trip you up. You know, that's just not what it's about. It's got you back 100%. It's always going to lead you down your highest timeline, but you need to be able to tune into it. You need to be able to tune into your intuition, to your guidance, to your heart. And often people can't do that because they've got so many blockages in the system. So they've got this radio station that they just can't quite tune into the dial, and it's just stuck on that static. So they never hear it. So we clear out the static so you can start to hear your guidance, and you can start to connect to your gifts, your talents, and start to move down a path that is your highest timeline. So if you're interested in that, check it out in the description below. So yeah, thank you.